And we have some folks on Facebook Live waiting on us. So beautiful. It's there. It's almost ready. Intros. Hey. Hey. Hey! My life. It's my life. Welcome. Happy Friday, everyone. First, we want to say welcome. We'd be remiss not to mention all the things that are going on in our lives right now, in our country, in our communities. So, first off, much love, much reflection, support, anger, fear, and sadness, and condolences to not just that brother, but every brother who has died unjustly in this country and anywhere. And I know that's everybody's been waiting on it, and everybody's been dealing with it for the last few days, and we're not going to stop dealing with it, but let's take a second to enjoy ourselves and be happy for a moment in reflection of all the things that have been happening and all things that are going to happen. Let's keep ourselves balanced, and with that being said, it's happy hour. It's Wachira Wines, and I have a special guest that's coming in as well, and I have some other folks on with me right now. And I know I have some folks on Facebook Live that are going to be coming in. So, with no further ado, let's get going. Hey, so I don't have rights to this music. This music is just for background, so we don't have rights. And you see the top of this screen here. You have wachirawines.com, WS Distributions, and Elevate Your Taste. That's on the top of the Facebook Live screen, not on the top of the screen if you're on Zoom. So, just want to make sure everyone knows what's going on at Elevate Your Taste. Mr. Vince Moten will be joining us. And we're going to be going over our Muscat, the leopard of this wine safari. So this is our mainstay. This is our number one. This is the best seller in our repertoire of wines made by the winemaker extraordinaire, Dr. Christine Wachira. And she is frontline as well, so she's a doctor, but it's a DNP, Doctor of Nursing Practice at Stanford Hospital, and she's been working today, so she'll be joining us. Hopefully she'll be joining us a little bit later, but until then, we're going to go over her favorite a little bit, and then touch on the sparkling, the lion of the safari. So for those that have not been with us before, and there's some others coming on, so we're going to slow it down just a little bit so I don't go too fast. So send out your likes and forward it out to your friends and your family and your followers, and get other folks on real quick, Facebook Live or on the Zoom if you have the Zoom link. Chadwick Spell, I am Chadwick Spell. That's my name, if you didn't know who I was. So I'm Chadwick Spell with Wachira Wines, and Dr. Christine Wachira is the CEO and founder of Wachira Wines, and we have WS Distributions, which is our distribution company, which I'll give you a little bit of info about that. WS Distributions. WS Distributions is Wachira, her last name, Spell, my last name. And part of her goal is to have a platform and not just do stuff for us, but for those that, like us, small makers, makers of color, locals, women that typically are overlooked by the large distributors. We want to make sure we have a voice and we can get distribution and get to some of these places that it's hard to do it when you're all by yourself, or if you're a small maker by yourself. This way we have a collective of makers of color. Our goal is to be the Wakanda of alcohol. So I don't have a problem saying it, because others are going to try to do it too. So that's just more for the merrier. So more of us in this industry, the better. So never hate on another maker in your industry, another person in your industry of color. Just encourage them. If you can partner, because there's enough money to go around. There's enough people in this world. It's enough resources to where whatever industry you're in, it's no need to hate on another when there's not that many of you in that industry. So that is the mantra we take. So we carry other people's wines, we distribute them, and we just keep moving forward. That's our mantra. Hey, I'm gonna check on somebody real quick. We are live. Where are you? All right, so I'm going to do some. We have Mr. Gene Wesley on with us. I don't know if you want to say a few words. He'll come back in a little bit later. There we go, Mr. Gene.
Good evening, sir. My apologies. I'm watching on both, trying to get you guys to get some likes in here.
All right, so we can work on that together, because I'm actually sending it out to some groups as well.
Okay. It's a pleasure to finally get on here. I've heard a lot of good things about your wine and your distribution.
Thank you, brother.
I'm excited. Vince is also one of my partners. Right now, we're actually doing a Fellas Food and Wine series. So I'm here to support my brother in wine, as well as you, my brother, in wine as well. Getting the good word out.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Like you said earlier, they need more of us in the industry, and whatever we can do to promote each other, support each other actually in the wine community is the best that we can do. So support goes a long way, so I'm here to support you as best as I can right now.
I appreciate it. So we had some folks that said they got 8 p.m. And I send my sincerest apologies, especially for the East Coast. If you had 8 p.m. down, my apologies. I thought we changed all the collateral and all the ads, and even the Facebook event says 6 p.m. I'm pretty sure. But my apologies if you had a group on waiting for us and we did not get to you. But we are here. And if they want to join, others can join. We'd love to have you. But we want to apologize for those that were looking for us earlier. It's 6 p.m. on Wednesdays and 6 p.m. on Fridays. We switched that about 2 weeks ago. And apologies if you did not get the notification. But otherwise, We are here. We're gonna get going pretty soon. Hey. Hey. Watch this. Getting going here, y'all. This is gonna be about. Mr. Moten, how you doing, sir? You're not quite started yet. I got Mr. Gene Wesley on. I don't know if you know him. He's out of Maryland.
Yep.
That's one of your buddies.
Tell us food and wine together.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, we talking about the food and wines. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know that guy.
So, I actually had a lady that had her group ready to get on, but she had the time for 8 p.m. and I apologize on here as well if she had it the wrong time, because I feel bad because she had her wine group on waiting since 5, and that's why I got on a little early, but I didn't get on early enough to catch them, and I feel bad about that. Because we did have the time, in her defense, we did have the time earlier set, when we first started doing these early last month, about 4, and then we moved it to 5, and then about 2 weeks ago we moved it to 6. Okay? Because when you first start out, you're trying things out, trying to see what it looks like, and the flow was good. However, people really couldn't chime in at 4 or 5. They just get off work.
Right.
But then East Coast, you guys already been home and had dinner and then drinking. So she called me at 5 and let me know that where are you? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I did not realize she was at her group waiting since 8. So I feel extremely bad. They ordered wine, everything else. She's a wonderful customer. I love them to death. And I mean, they're East Coast. I'm East Coast. You know what I'm saying? I was born and bred in South Carolina. You know, I got family in DC, Virginia. That's my side of the world. You know? Yeah. So big up to them. We're gonna get started in a few minutes. We're already live on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm putting out some hey. I'm gonna share it real quick. All right, here we go. It's not letting me do the way I want. Here we go. Here we go.
That was a good reminder. I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
I know, right? We all make that mistake sometimes.
Yeah. Let me change my handle on here.
Hey.
It's nice that, I have the other two, they're out of view, just like you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're right here. I have, just off to the side, and I see that you got yours. I'm like, okay.
So I have that one. So these are my displays, and I always have one I'm open, that's chilled. And then this one probably won't be chilled, so I probably won't open it because I can't drink that much wine. So, because when you're doing these every Wednesday and every Friday, Wednesday we Corbin, so I might do the Corbin on this one too.
Yeah.
When you live with a medical professional, they're very neat and organized. So everything has to go back in its place.
Yeah.
And the Corbin's place is not anywhere in here. So.
I definitely gotta invest in one of these days because I know that Julia Coney, she uses it, because she's blogging about different wines all the time with people. And I want to say I was tagged in a post today by a friend of mine. At least his social media handle is like Guy Phone and File, and there's like some company that's doing a giveaway.
Okay.
They say they do all these different things and tag someone. And he tagged me, and I was like, oh snap, yes, like.
Yeah, he tagged me on it as well, so I'm on that. I'm on that as well.
Yeah.
I definitely like right now the collab Model 2 is currently in my Amazon cart. So I definitely think I'm just gonna pull the trigger on it. But also too, given the fact that I don't let wine last long enough, it might sit around for a while. But I've been good lately. Like right now, I have 2 champagnes and 2 reds and 1 white, but I haven't used yet. So it might just be hope for me yet.
There you go. Yeah, I've got a little bit of wine over here. Most of my wine is at home, at my partner's house now, and so like he's the Chardonnay lover, but ironically he's like the OP buttery Chardonnay guy. So like, I haven't had him.
I'm trying to pour it out.
It's Wachira, right?
To Bruce, like I always do. I don't even do it.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
How are you, Vince?
Good, yourself?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We made it.
Yeah.
I'm missing
We did
somebody.
it.
Who else is here? Chad?
That's
Wesley.
Wes. Are you calling Wes or Wesley?
No, I mean, my first name is John Wesley, but Wes is fine.
Oh, hi Wesley. How are you? It's good to meet you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
So, before we get started, I've already started a little bit. I did a reflection on the things that are going on today. in this country and in the world, and the pandemic, Minnesota, but then also had to give homage to just every brother that's been around that's been done unjustly by the police in this country and this culture of racism. So we couldn't start without that, and now that you're here and in front line with the pandemic and everything else. So just want to say everybody stay safe and stay healthy. And then I introduced myself. I am Chadwick Spell of Wachira Wines, and the CEO founder is Dr. Christine Wachira.
I am Chris. My name is Chris. I go by Chris. So I founded Wachira Wines. It's sort of a Californian grapes with a Kenyan accent. We've been around for 5 years? No, 4 years now. I get the dates mixed up. Yeah, 4 years now. Based out of California. The wine showcases my dual Kenyan American heritage. And I'd be remiss if I didn't echo your words about everything, everything that's going on right now. I mean, yes, I work in healthcare, and my focus would be, I guess, to talk about, COVID and the impact of that on our community, but I'm also a Black woman, and I live in this, I'm part of this community, and you would have to be, blind and deaf and just completely disconnected, to not recognize what's going on in the world today. It's just a whole lot of inequity in all types of ways, forms, and shapes. Right? It's a lot of inequity in just about every aspect of life and society and culture.
All right, so we have a wonderful day-to-day plan for you guys. We have Mr. Vince Moten with Elevate Your Taste. Introduce yourself, and I'm put him on so our music doesn't take him off the spotlight. We'll spotlight you because you're our spotlight for today. Elevate Your Taste, Mr. Vince Moten.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much, Chris and Chadwick, for having me on. This is my first time doing a guest speaker for Wonderful Wine, so I'm really honored, and I just want to thank you guys for having me here. Mm-hmm. This is great. And a little bit about me. My name is Vince, born in DC, raised in Maryland. I am a wine professional who is a salesman in DC for a distributor currently. And I've been a wine lover since 2013 when I got into the industry. I didn't know about wine before, but through the education from my job, then that curated my whole interest, passion, and love for wine. And so I started a hobby platform called Elevate Your Taste. The idea in the beginning was to just kind of do pop-up tastings and learning, more so the fun part of tasting, because that's why we're all in business, right?
Right.
And but then I said I wanted to take it a little bit further and make it like a serious platform. So my partner, he helped me create an LLC. So it was official on my birthday last year in December. The Elevate Your Taste LLC is an official business in the state of Virginia, and looking to bring the wine tasting experience to you. So I bring the glassware, I bring the wines, you bring the people, we all have fun, and then I leave, I take everything with me, and you don't have to clean it up. So to do this now, everything with COVID has had us doing everything virtual, and I really feel confident that people still, although they're quarantining and some places are opening up, that people still want to learn about wine and they want to taste it. And we're trying some good stuff today, talking about Muscat. So thank you again for having me.
Of course.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
I was going to just sort of touch on something you just mentioned. So I was on a panel on Wednesday this past week, and one of the things we talked about is with all the sort of the impact of the COVID epidemic and how folks have lost their jobs and having to find alternative ways of doing things that we used to do before. I love how you're able to sort of pivot your business and turn it from sort of an in-person sort of event type, a curated event type, to sort of an online platform now, where you're talking about your wines and taking people through these different wine experiences.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
You want to talk a little bit about how was that a challenge? How long did it take you to figure out, okay, I need to pivot from to keep my business going, sort of survive COVID?
Well, so the good thing is, in between a lot of events, I post wine reviews, and so that kind of keeps me busy, and it keeps people engaged. So that way, they're seeing something. They're seeing like, okay, today he posted about, whatever, and it's a reminder that like, okay, when I need to have an event, and I keep seeing this guy, him post up information, and I get really detailed in my posts regarding that, because studying for WSET Level 3, and for those that don't know, Wine and Spirits Education Trust, which is like one of several organizations that's internationally recognized, that they teach wine professionals, wine enthusiasts, anyone who wants to learn anything about wine in the more in-depth sense. And I currently hold a WSET Level 2 Wine and Spirits respectively. They were different courses. And the interesting thing is, it's like, there's this whole grid, and I intentionally like made sure I have this nearby, but like this whole tasting grid, like you gotta know pretty much like all this stuff, front and back, right?
Right.
And if you just look at it at just a glance, and you're just like, wow, that was me too. Because you gotta understand the appearance of the wine, the smell of the wine, the taste of the wine, and the overall, consensus. And although there's no wrong answer per se for your individual palate, but you have to know what is supposed to be, this wine is like. It's supposed to, so like Muscat, for example, it's supposed to be floral, it's supposed to be aromatic, those sorts of things, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But like those key notes, like you got to be able to discern that on paper, because you are being judged against it, and it keeps me on my toes. So my post consists of it in it. So like if you just read the top half, that's totally okay. Like the bottom half is for the wine geeks like me. So.
And I totally appreciate your posts, by the way. I enjoy reading through them. So. Very refreshing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Very detailed. I love it. Yeah. All right. You guys want to jump in?
Let's jump in.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna do a softball, and you're gonna hit it at the park, right?
That's the prayer.
So before we even go to opening. So we're gonna go a little bit over what we have here today, okay? I don't like Japan used to have a better towel with me, but hey. So our Muscat, the Wachira wine's Muscat. So give you a little bit of education about it. First from the label, it has a leopard on the front of it. So the type of cat it is a leopard. The leopard is the fastest of the felines in the savannah. Also, it's the most versatile of the large cats. It actually, can basically survive in just about any kind of environment. Okay, out in the savannah. Okay, and it's the smoothest cat that I like. I think it's a lot smoother than the lion from my perspective. Now, why we have that leopard on the Muscat is a good few reasons, and I'll let her speak to that one.
So for one, the Muscat is the unofficial wine of Wakanda, because it is the. So if you look at the front of the label, so Black Panther, the same family as the leopard. The W in the middle of the label stands for Wachira, but it's also the salute, the Wakanda salute.
Okay.
So, because if you look at the label on the back, the logo font is a lot different.
Right.
Okay. It was a reason for going to that, and one of the things that I think she's most proud of, and I was like amazed by, the concept for this label was commissioned by her through a design firm in Nairobi, Kenya. So the initial design that spawned all of these was the lion. And that was done by a brother in Kenya who was a graphic designer.
That's
So,
awesome.
Because I wanted everything to be as authentic as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so when he crafted this, then we looked through the other labels, and I was like, you know what? I want to showcase the big five of the safari. And since we already have the lion, let's craft everything else and create a design for each of the other wines to match the big five of the safari.
So if you look at our old labels, were green. So that gives people an understanding of why we went from the green label to the big five. And we already were doing our tasting as not a tasting. It's not a tasting. It's a wine safari. And that was before we had the animals.
Right.
And that was because it's not for her. She didn't want me to do a traditional tasting. It's an experience. It's not just about the wine. It's about the experience.
I'm really big on sort of building that community, and it's hard to build a community if it's such a curated, sanitized. Here's a Muscat. I'm gonna pour it. You get these notes and that note and this and that and the other. You get a boysenberry or whatever it is that you get out of it, right? But if you've never experienced that fruit or that floral note, you cannot have that neuronal association, right? So for me, it's about the experience. We've all heard or about a leopard or a lion or an elephant, So it's just sort of having that alternative connection to the wine that's in the bottle and the experience of going through the safari sort of personalizes it and brings it to sort of my culture. So, and this also happens to be my favorite wine of the five.
Which is still, which I'm still amazed by.
Yeah, because I really did not like sweet wines before, and I love this Muscat. It's so refreshing. I love everything about it. 10% alcohol is absolutely perfect for me.
In her mind.
It's a nice, moderate number, nothing too egregious.
Right.
It's the perfect number to go through the whole bottle yourself.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to pace yourself as much.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can just sit there and enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And now we're going to turn it over to you. So, educate our viewers about the Muscat grape and what your thoughts are so far as well.
Okay, so the Muscat grape, when I was doing some research, there's a lot of different interpretations or clones of Muscat. The most common one is called Muscat of Alexandria, and that one was pretty much like the one that seems to have the most hectares available in California particularly, but back in its history, as it migrated from Greece or Egypt, somewhere in that Mediterranean or North African areas, where the grape was one record originating from, and so it's all been deemed essentially how a lot of us would know it as Moscato. That's the derivative that we understand it now. But Muscat itself in its purest form, it can be dry, it can be aromatic, it can be a little sweet, it can be very sweet. It's a really versatile wine that, interestingly enough, it has a lot of the flavor complexities of the actual grape itself, which is really unique to it. So it's really expressive of the plant itself. Now, I know that for me, when I first started drinking wine, one of the first ones that I had, I remember it, because my mom, she's, I want to say she's probably had she's had three specific wines that she circles back to all the time. One was an Italian one called Moscato d'Asti, and it's the actual design of it. She always remembers it because it's got a little bird on it. She's like, I want the Moscato with the bird on it, and so that was okay, and back in 2012, 2011, when I turned 21, like she, you know, we were just kind of hanging out one night, and she was like, "You should try this." So I said, "Okay," and I didn't know anything about it. I was like, "Okay, it's sweet, it's really, it's good," you know. And I've had since then many different interpretations, whether it be domestic here in California or any other respective regions in the United States, as well as Italy. And Moscato to me is like one of those grapes where a lot of people do the eye roll with black people when they hear the word Moscato, they think it's synonymous, and that's okay. Like, you know, I used to be a person that would kind of turn my nose up a little bit before my classes, because I was like, I didn't, you know, everyone was like, "Oh, you drink sweeter wine." So with this, getting back to Wachira, like when I tried this one a few weeks ago, I was really like blown away, because there was this very like clear intention in the taste. And a lot of times when, you know, I'll say mass-produced wine, they will give you the grape and they'll give you alcohol, and that's it. There's no story. There's no like anything of significance other than you want to get to where you want to get to, whether that's drunk or you just want something sweet and whatever. And either of those avenues, whatever works for you, please drink responsibly. Whatever avenue suits you best. Like, you know, this is something that, you know, I can just see with friends when COVID, you know, when we get a vaccine and we can actually all like be in one space together. Yeah, this is something that I want to have like with friends on a patio. You know, a nice hot summer day. I know it's been fairly warm throughout the country lately. So, but yeah, Muscat for me is one of those misunderstood grapes in the sense that like they think that it's only supposed to be one style, and it can be very dynamic.
Yeah, your glass is empty.
I'm about to change that.
Yes, yes.
I try to find it live so I can comment on it, because I can't.
You can still come in here. Right there.
And so to highlight as well, Muscat itself is always going to have a really beautiful color, right? Like you pour it in the glass, if you're in a fairly well lit or you know, a room that's got decent light, you just kind of hold it up and you know, you look at it. It's very clear. As I would say in my terminology, I would say that this is like a lemon gold in color. It's really white. Like, you know, I don't have anything white right in front of me. But yeah, I would definitely say that it's a nice, like, watery rim, and it's just it already. Like, the wine is this far away from me, and I'm getting the aromas.
You get it.
And it's like, that's what's really exciting, because when you have something that's super aromatic, and then when you taste it, you know, those aromas turn into flavors, and that delight on your palate is just great.
Nice.
Yes. So I've actually had mine open for probably about 30 minutes. So it's had a little bit of time to wake up, I would say, and like really
Yes.
start picking up, you know, its vibrancy.
Vince, can you touch on why that's important?
And what temperature you're tasting it at?
Yeah.
So, Chris, what was your question?
Speak to why it's important to sort of have it open earlier so it can, you know, sort of breathe. Like, why is that important? Yeah.
So, wine is a living thing, and it naturally, once it becomes in contact with oxygen, I know it's going to sound, you know, it might sound a little off-putting to some people, but naturally, wine wants to become vinegar. So everything that's happening along the way is a development from after all of the processes happen. It gets bottled, it gets sealed, oxygen is removed, and you know, as long as it's stored on the side, usually, if possible, you know, once you've cracked it open, it's changing. So this wine right now, an hour from now, tomorrow, if I had it open that long, it would taste different each time. And the reason for that is like when wine oxygenates, or basically comes in contact with oxygen, like I just mentioned, it wants to become vinegar, and it deteriorates pretty quickly. So, which is why we encourage you to either have a Corbin or if you're having this with friends, you won't need one because I'm sure you guys will finish it, especially this because it's great. And serving temperature, I have this in the fridge. I don't have a wine fridge, so I just kind of gauge, like, if I'm gonna be drinking something like this, I definitely want it well chilled at first, then I want to let it sit for about 20-30 minutes. So that way, think of aromas and flavors and things like that. I always say, like, ice and water. They're both the same thing, but they have different consistencies. So like with ice, things are kind of still, they don't move, but you know it's there. And with wine, as you're really getting into the aromas, if the wine is too cold, you rob the wine the opportunity to really shine in the way that it needs to. And as it becomes more like water, more fluid, it's becoming easier, for you to discern different things in your smell.
Exactly.
Something like this, like if I had just opened it and smelled it, it's not going to be the same as 30 minutes, an hour tomorrow.
Okay. So, and that's why a lot of times when I do tastings, I actually have folks taste it cold, chilled, probably around about 40 degrees, 42, and then actually room temperature. Because literally with this wine, it literally tastes like two totally different wines. And it goes exactly to what you're talking about.
Yep. And it's so, like, serving temperature is one of those, it's a tricky thing for people that are like really new into wine and trying to understand it, because I've had so many of my friends and family, they'll ask me, they're like, hey, do I put red in the fridge? And it's like there's so many specifics, because it's like no, but yes, but no, because it really depends on, is the alcohol over a certain amount? Are you having it with food? When do you plan on drinking it? Because all those things will help you, what is the temperature in your house? So when you want to get into the specifics of that, like there's a whole avenue that, like, it's a rabbit hole really, if you're not sure. So the rule of thumb that I always say, particularly for whites, if you have a refrigerator, leave them in the fridge. Like I said, let them sit, start to naturally warm up, like, don't accelerate that for about 30 minutes or so, and then start consuming it. It'll allow you to have the closest serving experience that's correct. And then with red wines, you want to have just a little bit of like a bottle chill, basically. Throw it in the fridge like half hour before, depending on how much alcohol is in it. Because it will make a difference. If the wine is too cold, you won't really taste much of what is actually there. And if it's too warm, especially if the alcohol is high, we don't have to worry about that with Muscat. But in other wines, like, the heat from the alcohol can just be very
overpowering. Yeah, and overpowering. Yeah. So if you have if it's around that 14%, 14.5, 14.6% range, if it gets too warm, it's warm.
Right. Yeah, you're just like, I need something to cool this down. We need some cold water or something. It's almost like taking a shot, and you're like, ooh, that burn. Yes.
And I was gonna bring out the aroma wheel, but I was like, nah, let's not do that. That's too much.
The what?
The aroma wheel.
Oh, okay.
For the notes.
So it's funny that you say that because Wine Folly is not sponsoring this post today, or this video today. This is, for people that are looking to just get some nice general information. This is something that I can refer to, and they have a whole pinwheel of
nice.
Different things for each.
Yeah.
So, they give you like suggestions on food pairings and things of that nature, like what temperature you should serve it at, and like what you should generally taste. there's always going to be exceptions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got my pinwheels too.
So I'm glad you showed that, because that's a lot easier to go through than this.
Oh, which one is that? Yes, the wine Bible.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a lot easier.
That's like when you're intently like, okay, I'm in it because I do have my WSEC book on the other side here, and it's it can get really intense, you know, when you're like, man, all this different information about regions and styles and complexities, you know, fruit characteristics. There's so many cool things.
Oh, yeah.
But I know that, like, for me, like I said, I've used this as a general guide to just kind of help me understand. And my WSET guide is, you know, I use it as a reference anytime if I'm like confused about like particular wines, and I'll be able to like, okay, I can discern, right, like, okay, this is peaches and this is apricots and this is, you know, all those. And to touch on that very quickly, because Chris had mentioned it earlier, but wine is a sensory experience. So I always tell people, if you've never smelled a pineapple, you're not going to be able to know how to smell it in a wine. Right. And so with that being said, like, it used to not be strange. I'm sure with COVID it's going to be a little bit different, but like, you know, with farmers markets, a lot of times people, sommeliers, you know, wine professionals, they'll always recommend you to like go to farmers markets and things like that and just really smell, you know, the different vegetables, the different fruits, and then, so that way it kind of gives you a sensory memory. Mm-hmm. So that way you can remember, oh, I was at this place on this day, and it's like, it smells like something that I've smelled before, and then you start to go down like, right, okay, where did I smell that? And
that's exactly it. Yeah.
And it's important because then, you know, references.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll just take a second and welcome Nikki. Nikki just she was just texting me on the side, and she is like, "Oh, I didn't realize that the live was right now." She hopped right on. So thank you, Nikki. Thank you for joining us.
Oh yes.
Welcome.
Hey, Nikki.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. We are learning about the Muscat grape today, and Vince is doing a great job of walking us through the grape and the wine in the bottle. So enjoy.
I never thought that we had to actually know what it smells like in order to smell it or taste it in the wine. So that was awesome.
Awesome. Yes, and it's like, it's really helpful because, you know, as I've been going through like more of my studies and really trying to understand, I'm sitting for my exam, WSET Level 3, Wine and Spirits Education Trust, and it is completely different than WSET Level 2. And the basic premise is you have to know, you know, the like nuances. You have to know, you know, the different categories, the places, the regions. And so with that, I'm also being graded on how the wine smells and how it tastes. It's not quite to the level of like, you know, it's not to the level of I have to be able to say, okay, this is Muscat. It's not that level yet. That's a little bit further down the road, but I gotta be able to say honeysuckle, peach, pear, lemon. I gotta be able to like discern it, and the only way to do that is just reference different things that you've smelled before.
That's great.
And so constantly, you know, when my partner and I will never look at around with COVID, but there's like these little spices that we'll like pick up, and they'll be like, hey, let me smell that before we like, you know. So that way it's like, oh, cloves. Okay, got it. Now I know what that smells like. So if I'm smelling it in a wine, it's dope.
That's dope. That's really dope.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Marcel. Thank you for joining us. Happy
Marcel.
Friday.
Hello. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Yes.
Friday.
All right. So we've gone through like the Muscat history. We've gone through, you know, Wachira wines. You know the whole label conception, the wine itself, the Big Five, and Mr. Vince Moten is taking us through a lot of good information about, in general, just the wine, what he's dealing, what he has to go through with the WSET 1s, 2s, and 3s, and the difference between those, and what it really means to actually, get the notes out of a wine, and appreciating a wine for what it is, the color, the nose, and understanding as much as you can even before you took a taste.
Right, exactly. Because we're definitely about to get into that. But what's cool is, wine is always evolving, literally in the glass, but also, in the world, because as the climate is changing, the grapes that were being planted in different areas, are changing, and so, with having Muscat in California, it's a pretty, hot climate usually, but I believe this area is a little bit further south. Isn't this is this near Lodi or?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not quite, I would say, as intense as, a place like Temecula.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot more intense, a lot deeper, yeah.
Right.
Because a lot more sun, a lot more heat.
Yeah. And so the importance of with heat and different grapes too is their ability to being able to ripen. And so this to me seems like this has the best harmony in ripeness and overall characteristics of the wine. And because as you have a hotter climate or a pretty, moderate climate, I would say, you get generally hot days, but you get cooler days. It's cool that you can, you can get some really, like I said earlier, very intentional wine as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely ready to get into a whole little tasting grid here.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Let's jump right in. Yeah.
So this Muscat, I had mentioned a little bit earlier, when I had tried this a few weeks ago, this is great. So I'm really excited to try this again. And don't mind me for a minute or so. I'm gonna definitely be whoa. But I'll reel it back in. I promise.
Okay.
No problem. No problem.
And so on the nose, well, first actually let me start in order in the color. This wine is definitely a clear lemon gold. There's nice watery rim. As I swirl the wine in the glass, looking at it, there's a way for you to be able to discern and tell if a wine has higher alcohol. They're called legs or tears. And when you're swirling the wine in your glass, and I know I probably make this look easy, I've been doing it for a while, so please don't feel no type of way. If you switch it like this, that's also fine. Just be mindful that as you drink more and more and more, especially with chilled wines, if you hold the glass like this, your body is going to heat up the wine quicker if it stays in your glass long enough. So it's always good to hold it by the stem if possible. And if you have stemless, that's totally cool. Just hold it by the top above where the wine is, and you'll be fine. But you have clear lemon gold. On the nose, I'm getting peach, a little bit of pear, some lemon. Honeysuckle definitely is really aromatic. I would tie it in with honeysuckle, elderflower. Those are two floral notes. This one also has, let's say, it's like Meyer lemon and maybe green apple. We're going to get into the taste here.
I'll taste with it.
Yes, juicy characteristics, right in your face with, the sweetness is there, the acid is there. I would say that this is light-bodied. This is lower in alcohol than most wines. Most wines are, around 13%, 12.5%, things like that. This is at 10%. So this is not going to get, you're not going to get really hot drinking it. You're just going to really enjoy how the sweetness is there. It's balanced. It's not like in your face sugar, but you know it's there. You know that the acidity is there because your cheeks pucker just a little bit, and it's really fresh, super ripe, meaning that like I'm tasting grapes. I'm tasting the notes that I call the green apple, the melon, the pear, the peach, tangerines a little bit. And overall, this is like a youthful wine, so this is something that you want to have, within the first 3 years or so. I think that it would be the best to enjoy it. And overall, this is very good. Like, two things. This is black owned, so that's amazing. So that's number one.
Thank you.
And number two.
This is really nerve wracking because I'm like, it's like somebody looking at your baby, your favorite baby, and they're really like, the nose is just 2 inches too wide. Okay. Right.
And I'm like, this is so great. Like, because to me, there's a difference in having something, that is very sweet, and then there's even something better when something is in balance. Right. And when you can get, a wine that showcases, these different avenues and bring them together, this is awesome. I don't need any help with this one.
And that's typically my problem with it is I just I struggle going light with this one. I really do. I really do.
I had some friends that purchased recently, and they inboxed me and said, the only problem with this wine is that you drink it too fast.
Before you realize it, you're like, wait a second, the bottle's almost empty.
Especially if you share a bottle. It's like, hey.
What happened?
Yes.
That's what a lot of our club members call this girlfriends in a bottle. That's the nickname.
That's its nickname. So it's great for just kicking and chilling with your girlfriends. And you know what? For what it's worth, so there's a sensory aspect of wine tasting. For me, it's the reason I hinge so heavily on experience is because it's such an experiential thing. For me, when I taste this Muscat, I think about what was going through my mind when this was being crafted. And I was seriously envisioning a wine I could sit in the backyard with my girlfriends. And the skies are blue, the sun is shining, it's a gorgeous afternoon. We are barely laughing, like it's just a beautiful day with my girlfriends. And that's how this wine came to be. And so it was really interesting to me when somebody tasted it and was like, wow, it tastes like girlfriends in a bottle. Because that's exactly what I was thinking, So,
and I was trying my best. I was trying my best to get the nickname to be the unofficial wine on Conda. You know what I'm saying? But girlfriends in a bottle won out. So.
Right.
Because a leopard is a Black Panther. A Black Panther is a leopard. So.
Yes. And it's so great because again, like wine is it's about community. It's about culture. It's about bringing people together, and even in this new way that we have to be together and experience, a new normal, whatever you want to call it, experiencing life differently. But no matter what, even still, like as we are, thousands and hours apart, but this Muscat and the Safari and many others, like it always brings us together in a sense of like reminding us of our humanity, right? Like wine is literally what Mother Nature gives you with a little bit of human touch. And so we can't control the weather, we have no control over that, but our influence on what is given to us is what makes these wines so beautiful. And
absolutely.
When it's crafted well and it's intentional, like you taste it, you can tell because you really like it. And that's definitely what this Muscat is for me. Certainly, I'm absolutely going to have this with one of our dinners probably later in the summer when it comes where more than 2 people can gather anywhere. Definitely gonna order a few more bottles and just have a little social thing. And I feel like this is gonna be the start.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It really like and it's to me it's like it's not even just because being black wine makers or anything. It's like literally because I've tried so many different things and I like understand when someone is putting their heart and soul into a wine, it shows, and that's what this definitely does for me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So thank you. This is awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to that.
Yeah, and you mentioned the food and wine. So tell us more about what you, and I know Wes was with us, and what you guys do.
I think Wes stepped off.
So I am working on a little series with 3 other gentlemen called Fellas Food and Wine. Slow project, we're trying it out, see how it goes. And so far we've had pretty good feedback overall. And the cool thing is we all come from different experiences in the wine trade. Some of us are enthusiasts and some of us are professionals. And so with that, like you get different experiences that are showcased on the screen. So on Thursdays we've been doing Zooms at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and really just doing a live tasting event. So we'll pick out a wine, preferably something that we've all never had, and then giving an honest review and reflection of the wines itself. That way it's unbiased, it's not pre-planned or any of those things. And it's cool because you get to see like sometimes the language I may use might be a little like I don't want it to be intimidating. I'm definitely trying to take out the intimidation, but I can get a little wordy. So if there's like something that I may miss saying, like Wes or Andre or Gerald, they may say like this is a bitter wine, this is a sweet wine, and however it works, Wes is like the more aligns in the food and wine pairing side because he comes more from a culinary background. So with me, I'm more just the professional that focuses heavily on the wine, very light on the food pairings. It's a little tricky for me because I don't cook that much, but I've been learning more now. So I'm studying flavor profiles, things of that nature. And yeah, so we have fun. We do a quick synopsis of the wine. We talk to people about it in the chat, and we do Q&As. That way, if anyone has any questions about style, why do you use this word or whatever, we're here to do our best to help. Just actual information, not just opinions. So, because it's important to teach people correct information because we don't want you to get to a sommelier or whatever.
I'm waiting for you to plug in because education is important for you to elevate your taste. So like, I've been waiting.
So we can all be elevated.
Yes,
right.
There we go.
Elevating your knowledge, elevate your knowledge. You can elevate your experiences.
Exactly.
That elevates your taste.
Yes, definitely. And that's the whole goal, right? Like we want to. I definitely, I didn't see that many people that look like me in the wine trade, especially when I started working with this company. And I want to say, so I started in mid 2013, and then I have to say it was around 2016 that I finally looked at the movie Song. It used to be on Netflix, but now they have their own streaming service on TV. And Galen Proctor, who is rock star, black man who was sitting for Master Sommelier exam back in 2011, 2012, and you want to talk about intense. Like, I had ignored looking at this movie for years because people were like, "Oh, you need to watch it." I'll get to it. You need to watch it. I'll get to it. And then finally, it was really digging through the ones I'm like, I need to know this stuff. And seeing him on screen, I was like, yeah, that's definitely it. I gotta be like him because he's got this. As he said, he was in a nice restaurant. He saw somebody with a nice Italian suit, the lapel, everything, and just really clean. And he's just like, I want to be him, I shall be. And when I look at Dylan, I'm like, that's something that I'm inspiring to be as well. It's like, in Cristiano, I'm not trying to get to master sommelier level, but I definitely want to get the sommelier track once I get to level 3 WSET. And yeah, there's more visibility now with movies like Uncorked that have come out also, and black representation on screen, it matters. Especially in this industry, there's definitely people that are champions. Like Justin Wilson, he's an expert sommelier, master sommelier, and he has wine shops, and he's like a mentor to someone that I look up to, Shakira, who is Black Girls Kind too. That's her IG. So shout out to her because she's great. I learn a lot from her, and I want to definitely make sure that as I am talking to you guys and whatever, that I'm not just calling out random stuff. Definitely want to make sure that the content we all put out there is correct and fun and precise.
Precise, because that's how we.
Within your taste.
There we are.
That is like my campaign man.
Can you imagine? I don't say something I'm supposed to say. How that ends up?
But see, like with Uncorked and
black wine makers in NDC or within that region.
So,
East Coast.
East Coast, there is one winemakers. So there's a lady, Marvina Robinson, who soy in Champagne. She's from New York, I believe Brooklyn. I hope she's from Brooklyn and not from the Bronx. But she's from New York City. I'll leave it at that way. I don't get it wrong.
There you go.
Because people are very particular about
Yes,
right.
Where in New York you from? Yeah.
Yeah. So she's from New York, and soy in Champagne. It's black owned, and she sources her grapes from the Champagne region, and she works with, I believe, Linda Wilson, which is a person that will negotiate different growers. They'll contact different growers to say, hey, I want to get from this part of Champagne, and I want to make it in this style. And so I've not had her wines yet. I'm waiting for them to come in. But I can order them because definitely want to support. And it's probably the nearest to me black owned actual wine maker. And there is a lady who so there's Soy Besson, and then she's not a lady, but there's a joint owned winery in Virginia. It was recently acquired back in September, late August, early September of 2019. Delapine, I want to say. I haven't been to the video yet. We were actually planning to do a trip there in the spring, before all this stuff happened. But they are Hispanic and black owned. It was recently purchased.
Nice.
So I don't know who's doing the winemaking. I gotta definitely, I don't know if they kept some of the old staff, bringing in new staff, but I'll find out. Unfortunately, we don't have that much visibility in this market that I've been made aware of. And should anyone know, please let me know so that way
Yes.
I can support them. And that way we all continue to rise together and elevate their tastes.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right.
So you have Mr. Vince Sloan, we elevate your taste out of. Tell where you're at and where and what you do one more time.
For those who just joined.
I'm based in DC. I am one professional. I work for a distributor. I live in Maryland, and Wine Fanatic. Have started learning about wine in 2013 when I got into this industry, and it's great. Like it's fun. It's more about this part right here, the education, and just learning the little intricacies because there's always a story, right? And we're creating our stories now by becoming more visible. And so, shout out to Black Wine Lovers. It's a Facebook group that really allowed me to even have this experience here because I met Chadwick through there, and then that brought me to this one, and then here it is, in Maryland, and it's allowing me to elevate my taste here, elevate your taste wherever you're from, and Elevate Your Taste is a business that I've created to increase the understanding and the comfort for people about wines and things like that. So I have a website, elevateyourtaste.com. I have Pinterest.
What was that website again, Vince?
Elevate Your Taste with an S on the end.
.com.
And I'm very active in posting wine reviews in the interim of COVID. So that's what's been keeping me busy. And so I'm also thanking Chris and Chadwick for this amazing opportunity to speak and get my bearings together with this because it's like you guys are here, especially trying this wine and learning the history between the label, the story as far as the leopard and the safari, and just tying it all together because all that matters to great wine.
I appreciate that. It absolutely does.
Oh yeah.
I really totally appreciate you. Thank you for extending your skills and helping us elevate the taste of our community.
Exactly.
I appreciate you.
Yes.
For that.
And now and we'll have you back anytime. Join us any Wednesday and Friday that you're available and chime in.
Yes, definitely. I'd love to be, because I got my reviews that are coming up for the Zinfandel and the Cabernet. And I'm definitely going to do the Chardonnay before both of those because I tried it, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I didn't even do my review.
Was that on National Chardonnay Day? I think that's when you went full.
Yeah, I was like, oh yes, this is. So we're just gonna enjoy today. We're not gonna do the in-depth review, but we got another bottle, so definitely gonna do the technical stuff that I do, and this was fun. So,
It's a lot of fun. One last thing before you go.
Yes.
What would you pair the Muscat with? Did we talk about that? What would you pair it with?
Oh yes, we didn't. Oh god.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's alright.
And then when you get a second, Nikki, Connor, have raised her hand for a question. So
I was talking for him to say thank you.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Thank you, Bill.
So
Good video.
food and wine pairings, very new to it, but I would say that like this to me, there's like two terms that the French use, aperitif and digestif.
Right.
So kind of think of like appetizer and dessert, right? So this to me is a great aperitif. You don't need to pair it with anything. However, if I did, I would say that maybe salad, fresh garden salad, would probably go great with it. The acidity in the wine would hold up well with the crunch of the actual, whatever base lettuce, that sort of thing. And then also, I'm thinking like something that would be maybe like Thai cuisine or something with like a curry base kind of flavor profile, like something.
That's exactly what I go for.
Yeah. So they cut through that that like gravy and things like that. And so both components of the elements, the best elements of the food and the best elements of the wine, are both gonna be in harmony together. So those would be my recommendations.
Awesome.
Yeah, the Thai food is one that I had thought of a while back, like this would work great with some Thai food.
Right,
Like,
right.
chili pepper in there, and then it just cuts. Just add a little sweetness in there. Yeah, yeah. Sweet, spicy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
That's a mantra to live by.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we've always said that like the Muscat is. I don't when I'm presenting it, I don't like say this is dessert wine. People want to put it in that bubble, but it's like the way Chris crafted it. It doesn't. To me, it's not as that. It's not within that profile of the dessert. It is, but it's not. Like it is the lighter side where it does have some sweetness, but you can have it up front. You can have it with appetizer. You can, my goal actually is I want to actually pair it with like some barbecue pork ribs with a sweet and spicy sauce.
Oh.
And then have that, yeah. So that's going to be my next pairing.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Let me know how that
I
goes.
just didn't have any this past weekend.
So
Even
good.
though it's my thing, it came to me like, oh man, this is so
you got my brain. You got my brain rolling.
You said what?
You got my brain rolling right now. I'm thinking about brown sugar, some cayenne pepper, some red wine infused with it, and make it like a basting to baste it slowly on the smoker to have a nice sheen.
Yeah. But the spice will balance it all out, so it doesn't go all sugary. Right. That spice will get in there, and it's all mellow out on the palate, right? So.
That sounds so good.
Sleeping Rays. Support rhythm.
Hey. So what are you sipping on, Mr. Anderson?
Huh?
What are you sipping on, Mr. Anderson?
Oh, just a little bit of red wine. I'm late because my day was late, so I couldn't get on the camera looking.
Yeah, to freshen up?
Yeah, to freshen up a little bit.
Yes,
that's why I was trying to part.
That's all right.
It's all good. I mean, it is what it is. It's been a weird week.
It's been tough.
It's been a weird week.
I struggled with, Chadwick will tell you, I struggled with today, and even coming on today. We have a commitment to people, and we have this out there that we're going to show up every day, every Friday, Wednesday, every Friday between 6 and 7:30 on Fridays, and I really, really struggled with today. It's hard. It's really, really hard.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
I woke up this morning just really disturbed, and I was pretty rebellious. So I almost didn't go into work because my mind was just not right. And these things although we have avenues that we can explore creativity and we create spaces that of community for us. But the world still happens, and the world still has different ways of going about treating certain people that are just it's totally unacceptable. And it definitely my spirit was just all off balance, and I was in the same boat because I was like I gotta go in tonight, so I made sure I got a napkin before because I was I need something to just kind of help me kind of recenter and get my mind on wine and just this community aspect of it, because this is why it's important for us to do what we do. Because we have to be there supportive of one another when other people aren't. Most definitely.
We absolutely do. We absolutely do. We have to uplift and keep each other's spirits, going.
Yes.
Keep each other
Elevate.
Elevated. There we are. I was trying to find the word. Elevated is the word I was looking for. That's the word of the day. Miki, what are you drinking, Miki? I want to know what you're drinking.
Yes.
Have you tasted our Muscat? I'm curious.
So I just connected with you about a couple weeks ago, and so I haven't like been on your site personally and made a purchase. But what I did was I sent my stepmom money, and she placed an order. So I think she got I can't remember which one she ordered, but she got it for Mother's Day, so that was my gift to her. So I haven't tried your wine yet, but I am planning a get together at her house within the next week, and I plan to have you deliver. She's in Berkeley, I'm in Sacramento, so to have you personally deliver. I don't have your wine with me, but I do have a red wine I'm sipping on.
Hey, as long as it's a drink, it doesn't matter what it is.
And how are you doing, Nikki?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
It's important. I can't enforce it enough. I said especially now. Like you can check on each other. Call. You know, we can't just show up anymore.
And texting is nice, but you know, like I was having a conversation with you yesterday. Right. You know, we have friends that we check on. And it's like, you know, you can't reach them, and you text them. Everybody's gonna say I'm fine, I'm doing good. You know what I'm saying? You need to get somebody look at their face if you can on Zoom or WhatsApp or whatever, and hear their voice. You know, people can't hide that much. Yeah, you know, you can hear things in the voice and in the eyes. You know, so check on your peoples.
Absolutely, I was gonna go through my sister checks when I was inboxing her because I got an email. I was like, oh, let me check in and let her know that I do adore her and what you guys are doing. Especially in the wine industry, I used to own a wine club, and it wasn't any of us. I used to bring you know, wines from West Africa and different regions to our area up here in Sacramento that no one had heard of. So I, you know, commend you for what you're doing, and yeah, I'm proud of y'all.
Thank you.
Stay in touch.
Thank you so much.
And we're starting to do a lot more up in SAC too.
Absolutely, we are.
Yeah, I have a connection for you if you're interested. So
we're absolutely interested. I'm always interested.
We're not connection shy.
Yeah, she would love to have you, and you know, anything she can do to support. Queen Sheba, the restaurant, that's where I used to host all of my wine events, and so she still wants me to do them, but I don't want to do the wine anymore. So I'll connect with you.
Awesome.
Yeah, that works.
You know what? I think I met her.
I think you did.
In
Sacramento.
The Pan-African
conference, yes. We did the Wine for Pan-African conference.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was a speaker for it too.
Yes, I think I met her. That
yes,
would be awesome.
we did. She catered.
Awesome.
Her food was good.
Her food was incredible.
Yeah, her food is amazing.
Yeah, it was her and her daughter.
She's known for her honey wine.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we get a lot of people out that want to come out and just try different wines that we can bring to Sacramento. And we're all about supporting our people first. So, you know, anything we can do, I can definitely connect you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate it.
All right. I want to say thank you guys. Thank you, Mr. Vince Moten of Elevate Your Taste. You've elevated our knowledge a little bit today, so we elevate our minds, elevate our experience. Today, you elevated the experience as well. Yeah. So, and we elevated our taste.
There we go. Praise God.
That's right. Praise God.
Amen.
Thank you so much, everyone. This is great. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. And thank you, Chris. Thank you, John. Thank you, Marcel. You guys are awesome. And I'll definitely be popping back in.
Absolutely.
You know, supporting. And like I said, when I have my little gathering, I'll let you guys know how they craft them to the wines.
Yes.
You did great.
And somebody else came into the waiting room.
Right before you left. But I was going to say, plug your website again. I posted it in the comments, but plug it again.
Plug your website again.
That's something good.
elevateyourtaste.com. So I just put it in the chat.
There we go. Perfect.
Yep, elevateyourtaste.com.
All right, and I put it in on the Facebook Live comments as well. Folks can visit that.
Awesome.
ElevateYourTaste.com. That's Vince Moten. Am I saying your name right?
Moten.
Moten.
it's one of those like.
I don't want to hurt
When I was growing up, like I always had a hard time because there was a kid in my class who, so my name is Moten, and his was Motana, with MOTON. So like it was very interesting how like the teacher would have to like pause before like they would do attendance, and then it was like when they got to us, they were like Vince Moten, and the other guy's his name was like Eric, it was like I'm looking around like wait a second. Like, is the kid with my last name or kid? Like,
I'm just impressed at the teachers at the time.
yeah. Because it would just be like, my first name, you see all the names on the list together, and it's like they're not the same, they're different. So.
Miss Anika, how are you, sis? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
What are you sipping on?
Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah.
Oh, well, right now I'm just having some water. I was on the phone with my mother and I had a late meeting today.
Oh.
It's all good,
Hydrate. That's important.
And then start drinking.
It's really hard.
For every glass of alcohol, you should a glass of water. Everything is about balance. We should make sure wine is about balance, and we gotta consume them is about balance.
I did have a quick question before we do tap out.
Yes.
Listen, I know, we're really into New World right now, like New World wines. What are some recommendations for old world wines that you can recommend to folks that want to venture out and experience old world wine that you can find in your stores, like delays and etc.
Yeah, great question. So I think that France is an area that is very tricky to understand for a new wine drinker, simply because they only in one specific region they put the grapes on the label. Everything else they put the village. So if you don't know the village and like what's going from there, I would shy away from France just in the beginning until you get your bearings. I feel like for me, Spain and Italy, they have some really nice grapes, but I would say starting off, and this was in our conversation yesterday with those doing wine, although it's going to kind of go against what I just said. However, Beaujolais is a region in France that's a pretty light-bodied red wine that goes through a certain process called carbonic maceration. So it's fairly light on the palate comparatively to other grapes. And the grape itself is called Gamay, Gamay. And it's going to have this it's not going to be really tannic. It's not going to be high acid. It's going to be a really easy sipper type of wine. And Beaujolais is a region that's south of Burgundy, and Burgundy makes some of the best red wine in the world. A lot of places inspire to make best Burgundian style types of wines. So I would say in the overall with Italy, I would start in an area like for white wines. I honestly believe Pinot Grigio is like the most saturated for the domestic market, and Italian Pinot Grigio, I would start there, kind of see is this too acidic, is this too bitter to me, that would be fairly easy to navigate. And with France, I would only stick with Beaujolais. So if you see Beaujolais Village on the label, and I'll type it in the chat for those who may not know how to spell it, because it is a little tricky. The French are, some of the language that they use in their language is translated can be a little difficult from how it sounds and how it looks. And with Spain, gosh, I would say either for their white wines, Rodeo, it's similar to a Sauvignon Blanc, but not as high in acid. And they also make Albarino, but Albarino can be pretty mild, so I would say that would be step number 2 in Spain for me. So yeah, hopefully that kind of gave a little scope. Pinot Grigio for Italy, Beaujolais for France, Verdeo White for Spain, and that would be my 3 ranks.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice.
No problem.
All right, Marcel, what was that wine from France?
Get a quick quiz, man. So I had a question. Since you live around Europe, as far as if you have, because a lot of our people like sweet, right? Okay, but part of my thing is this is more in my realm of sweet. And what would you recommend out of like Germany and Austria? Would it be like a spot, let's say, or also aged Riesling, West Riesling? That they can buy?
I would definitely agree. So the only thing with German, Austrian Rieslings is their acid level is like it's through the roof. So,
but they age. So the older, the better.
The rounder they are.
Yes. So you want to get them aged.
Yeah, because like so Rieslings themselves, they have different tiers of, and they appear on the label, and it's like they have this whole system. Predicatstein is what it's called, and it's a whole system where they let you as a consumer know, like, hey, this is how sweet this wine should generally be. And someone told me a great way to like remember how sweet it is. Now it's going to be reversed, but hopefully it'll make sense. But they say if you ask, the K is drier, the S and the A is sweeter. So if you start from K, Cabernet.
Yeah, Cabernet.
N-E-T-T, that's going to be, that's going to be, the drier style. And then Spotless, S-P-A-T-L-E-S-E, that's going to be more like off dry, so it's going to be like a little sweet but not very. Auslese, A-U-S-L-E-S-E, that's going to be definitely more like medium dry, medium sweet. It's gonna, so like each one, it keeps going up in the sweetness level. And from Austria, like they use pretty much the same system as they do in Germany, so they're gonna follow that same classification.
And it may say Trocken, which means dry. They may say Trocken, which means dry as well.
Yeah.
So there's a slight difference between Germany and Austria.
Right.